Now back to the breaking news from the South. Crowds turning out in Alabama for a national day of action for voting rights. And joining me now, we're delighted to welcome Massachusetts Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. So, Congresswoman, thank you for joining us. What do you hope will be accomplished by this rally today?
That is not power. Hear me say that is not power.
Well, all roads do lead to the South, as Congressman Jones of Tennessee reminds us that the South, as goes the South, so goes the nation. What I hope will come out of this is solidarity, a sustained, persistent, vigorous, and vigilant effort in defense of voting rights for Black Americans, Black voters, and all people. In 1965, Dr. King said the Voting Rights Act was a victory for Black Americans, but would enrich the lives of all Americans. What is happening right now to disenfranchise, to silence, to dilute Black power, representation, and progress is an abomination. Any person of conscience, any person of faith should be linking arms with us in this moment. That's why I'm here as a Massachusetts Congresswoman, because our destinies are tied from Massachusetts to Montgomery to Memphis to Mississippi. This is not just a fight for the Black voter or Black American. This is not just a fight in defense of the South. This is a fight in defense of our democracy.
You know, you are echoing the sentiments of the guest we had last hour, your colleague, Senator Cory Booker, who said this is not about partisan politics, despite the redistricting, the gerrymandering, and how it could be interpreted that way. He said it is more about what this country stands for and preserving democracy for all. But in these partisan times, when perhaps the only way you can effort successfully preserving democracy for all, it becomes so partisan. How can the whole situation and the way the nation looks at this rise above tit-for-tat actions from red states versus blue states?
To be clear, the effort by the 6 Trump Supreme Court justices was a very partisan action. They are pretending that they want to do away with partisan gerrymandering, but this is partisan. This is racial gerrymandering. It is a great injustice, and we're here collectively in righteous indignation. I have to just tell the truth. There are people in this hostile anti-Black administration that would rather Black Americans pick cotton than pick the president, than pick their congressperson, than pick a senator. They want the representatives to decide who their voters are, instead of the voters determining who their representatives are. This is all happening because they recognize the power of the super majority, and that is the Black voter and every marginalized voter. So I agree, we should appeal to better angels. We should do our work to maintain our commitment to the promise of this country. But we have work to do, and that is why we are here, to agitate, to organize, to mobilize, to litigate, to legislate, to demand that the House call to the floor the John Lewis Voting Rights Advancement Act. And then, one day, we need to expand the court, this extremist court that have been enlisted as co-conspirators in this extremist anti-freedom, anti-democratic agenda. So what we do today is incredible, but it is a call to action, and our work will not end here. It's just beginning.
So in reference to the Supreme Court action you talk about, which upheld the Virginia High Court's ruling from about 2 weeks ago, essentially gutting the Voting Rights Act, describe where that leaves voters and the makeup of Congress going forward.
Well, it could have devastating implications. Again, this is a targeted, coordinated attack on Black voters, on Black leaders, on Black representation, power, and progress. They mean to take us back not just to Jim Crow, but to a pre-Reconstruction era. And this would have devastating implications. We are 61 strong in the Congressional Black Caucus. It matters when you have a government that is for and by the people. that is supposed to be the promise of our government in this country, a government for and by the people. How can that be if it is not for and by the people? I am not here in an appeal for charity or even benevolence. This is not a fight for zero representation or some representation. This is a fight for fair representation. And that is what brings us to Alabama. In defense and in affirmation of the leadership of Congresswoman Terry Sewell, Congressman Shamari Figures, fair representation, 2 seats. So we're going to vote, we're going to work, we're going to agitate, we're going to mobilize. Black folks, this is pattern recognition for us. We have long had to outwork and outvote voter suppression. But we will keep fighting because we are deserving of a fair representation in this country.
Amen to that, Congresswoman Ayanna Pressley. Thank you so much for joining us and expressing all those very, very valid and important views. Thank you.